They say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But what do you do when your best friend becomes the enemy living in your guest room? My name is Sarah, and I thought I was being a hero by saving Chloe from the streets. I didn't know I was actually inviting a parasite into my marriage. Last night, I found a digital blueprint of my own murder, and my husband's signature was at the bottom of the page. You're not going to believe how deep this betrayal goes. Let's get into it. Chloe showed up at my door at 2 a.m., drenched in rain and sobbing. She said her apartment burned down and she had nowhere to go. Being her best friend since college, I didn't even consult my husband, David. I just opened the door. For the first few weeks, it was like a slumber party. But then the coincidences started. Chloe began wearing my perfumes. Then she started buying the exact same shade of lipstick I used. One evening, I came home early to find her sitting in my spot at the dining table, wearing my favorite silk robe, laughing with David. The way he looked at her, it wasn't the way a man looks at his wife's friend. It was the way he used to look at me. When I walked in, the silence was deafening. Chloe didn't apologize, she just smiled and said, "Oh, Sarah, you're home early. We were just discussing David's new promotion." A promotion I didn't even know he was up for. My gut was screaming, but I stayed quiet. I started watching. I noticed their hands brushing accidentally over the salt shaker. I noticed David staying up late to help Chloe with her resume. The curiosity turned into a burning need to know the truth. So, while they were out for a jog together, I went into the desk room. I didn't find clothes or makeup. I found a locked briefcase. And when I finally jimmied it open, I didn't find a resume. I found my birth certificate, my social security card, and a life insurance policy in my name, with Chloe listed as the sole beneficiary. The mystery was just beginning, and I was starting to realize I was a ghost in my own home. If you've ever felt like someone was trying to replace you, hit that like button right now. You won't believe what I found hidden in their deleted messages. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the papers. Why would Chloe have my life insurance? I decided to go deeper. I hacked into David's old laptop that he left in the study. I found an encrypted folder titled Project Clean Slate. Inside was a timeline, a literal calendar of my life for the past 6 months. October 12th, feed her the idea of Chloe moving in. Success. November 5th, start the slow-acting arsenic in the morning vitamins. January 5th, today, final dose, 10 p.m. I felt a wave of nausea hit me. The morning vitamins David gave me every single day with a kiss on the forehead, they were killing me. I looked at the bank statements next. Our joint account was empty. David had funneled every cent into an offshore account in Chloe's name. They weren't just having an affair, they were erasing me. Suddenly, I heard the front door open. "Sarah? Honey, are you home?" David's voice boomed. It sounded like a death sentence. I shoved everything back into the folder and sprinted to the bathroom, splashing cold water on my face. When I came out, Chloe was standing in the hallway, blocking the stairs. She was holding my morning vitamins and a glass of water. "You forgot your health boost today, Sarah," she said, her eyes cold and predatory. David was standing right behind her, his face a mask of fake concern. They weren't even hiding it anymore. They were waiting for me to fade away so they could step into my life. I was trapped in a house with 2 monsters, and the clock was ticking toward 10 p.m. Subscribe now to see how I turned the tables, because next was about to get very, very messy. I took the pill. Or at least they thought I did. I palmed it and flushed it down the toilet later. I knew I couldn't just run, they would find me. I needed to beat, in this case, the architect of my death at his own game. That night, David made a celebratory dinner, steak and wine. He was unusually chatty, talking about our future travel plans. Chloe sat there, smug, already acting like the mistress of the house. What they didn't know was that while they were jogging that morning, I hadn't just looked at the briefcase. I had called my brother, a high-tech security expert. He had remotely accessed David's offshore account and frozen it. At 9:45 p.m., David looked at his watch. "Almost time, Sarah. How are you feeling?" "I feel clear," I said, standing up. "Clear enough to know that your offshore account is empty, David, and clear enough to know that the police are currently at the front gate." Chloe's face went pale. David laughed, a dry, nervous sound. "Sarah, you're hallucinating. The vitamins?" "The vitamins you thought were arsenic. I switched them weeks ago, David. You've been taking the slow-acting sedative yourself." As the words left my lips, David's eyes began to glaze over. He tried to stand up, but his knees buckled. Chloe screamed and ran for her briefcase, but I had already moved it. I stood over them, watching the life they tried to build crumble in seconds. The lesson? Never try to outcalculate a woman who has nothing left to lose. A year later, I'm living in a villa they paid for with their project money. David and Chloe are sharing a cell in a state penitentiary. Every morning I take a real vitamin, and I look at the clock. It's 10 p.m., and for the first time in my life, I'm the one holding the gears. Betrayal is a poison, but revenge is the cure. If you think Sarah did the right thing, drop a yes in the comments. Thanks for watching. Sleep tight if you can.